was a certain expectation, even from myself, to match the last Sarah Connor that we saw. And at a certain point, you just go, there is no way that you think you can put in the same amount of work and get the same results. But that's not possible 27 years later. So then I came to terms with the fact that I might not, nor did I really want to look like her. It's just, everyone that sees it is going to go, oh, she got old, you know? So I decided to go with that. And really, I dyed my hair white so that people would make the distinction between Sarah Connor then and Sarah Connor now. And had to let go of my own expectations and just build the strengths that I developed within myself in the 27 years. You know, I'm not what I was, but I am much more than I was. And so I just had to hold tight to that. But what was frustrating was standing next to Mackenzie in Texas. And she, you know, could, it was really when I was standing.
The gesture means so much to us.
No,
and
you
nothing
could,
to anyone
I know.
else.
She could change a mag with one hand and do this fancy stuff with her hand, and I'm like, my hands aren't as strong as they used to be, and I'm like, I was like, oh my God, I am totally not gonna be able to do this, you know? So Texas, I was off in the desert sobbing. I was like, I'll be fine, I just need to cry it out. I'm, you know, just frustrated with what I couldn't do that I used to be able to do. And I just thought, I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna fail miserably. And you know, I think that, in a way, that doubt feeds.
She did not.
But the doubt and the fear certainly feeds the work sometimes. And you can't let it overwhelm you. You only have to let it just inspire you to work that much harder.
In California, the culture is heavily influenced by everything that comes from the South. And I think that for us designing the story, we really wanted to tell a story that got outside of the usual. Usually Terminator's urban, it's cities, it's downtown, and we start in Mexico City, but then quickly the story moves out into rural northern Mexico as we head towards the border. And you know, of course, crossing the border is a big thing in the zeitgeist today, and I was glad to have a chance to have that in the movie. So for me, it just felt like the right kind of story to tell right now, but I don't have a personal agenda. For me, it's all about the story. What seems interesting? What haven't we seen before in the Terminator universe? And all of these elements were things that I thought were fresh and new and different for Terminator, as well as relevant to what's going on today. As for Gabriel, I really believe that this new artificial intelligence legion would create a killer that was more human than human. If you look at where artificial intelligence is headed, it's all being designed to interface with us, to be very human. So the idea that it couldn't make a human that could blend in perfectly, that didn't have to be monosyllabic or robotic, it just didn't seem like the way to go anymore. And Gabriel is amazingly charming, and then at a moment's notice, his eyes go cold, and you feel like he's going to slit your throat. It's pretty amazing. He auditioned, we did the scene from Collateral with Tom Cruise in the back of his cab, if you've seen it, where Tom goes from very charming to stone cold killer in an instant. And I don't know how actors do these things, but Gabriel can just make his eyes go cold, and then you feel like you're about to be whacked. And he was fantastic. And then charming and wonderful the next moment.
Well, it's funny because you do about a month of pre-production, so we were in Spain training, and we were sort of in this world getting ready for the big first day, that when the day comes up, it kind of feels like another work day until you arrive, and then suddenly you're like, oh, holy shit, I'm about to shoot a Terminator movie. Our first scene was on the streets in Madrid. It was playing Mexico with Natalia and I. It's a very sort of crucial moment in the movie. So it was a very stressful way to start with this like huge scene. Yeah, I don't know. I generally, you just sort of oscillate between feeling very much like, this is work, I'm going to work, and then being entirely overwhelmed that this is your work.
Because you're in another world.
Because you're in another world. And they've transformed it as well. I mean, where we were shooting was
bien el primer día?
Nothing personal. Well, it was unbelievable chaos with the crowds outside, and they were trying to hide first looks, and there are all kinds of paparazzi out there, so I was covered up by a coat anywhere that I went until we got into the pharmacia. You know, it was just a weird start because it was almost impossible to do crowd control. I tell this story of Natalia and myself because Jim Cameron had rewritten a little bit of the scene the night before. It's my first day. They'd been working for 2 days. So they had already got to a place in the scene. So Jim Cameron sends it out the night before, and I'm like, great, doable. And Sarah Connor drives up and says to the two ladies, I need answers from you two, get in the car. But Tim had directed it, and they had naturally landed it the day before, where Mackenzie is lying unconscious on the sidewalk. So she's unconscious, so there's no way she can get in my car. So that started this whole domino effect of like, okay, we have to rearrange the scene, rearrange the dialogue. It was awkward, it was terribly loud. Then Tim didn't really like where it was going, so Tim rewrote it, but they couldn't print anything out. And it became so like, do this version, do that version. I'm holding a gun and my hand is actually shaking even though I'd been working for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I just remember the camera's on me, it's the end of the day, we're fighting to get the shots done. And I looked down at Natalia with the camera rolling and she goes, are we doing the long version or the short version? I mean, that's how confused he was. Camera is rolling and I looked down at her, she goes, it was a lost day. We ended up going back and reshooting all of that. But I was just like, oh my God, this is the worst first day ever. Because it was the uncertain Sarah Connor. And I was just like, Sarah Connor is never uncertain.
Buena pregunta. De entrada, me da mucho gusto que ya siento que Hollywood ya está teniendo otra perspectiva a los personajes latinos. Y el mejor ejemplo no es conmigo, es con Natalia y el personaje que ella está haciendo en esta película. No solo como latina, sino como mujer. También, yo aquí nada más estoy feliz de poder trabajar con este gran elenco, con Tim, que es un gran director, con James Cameron, que es también una leyenda, y como mexicano poder pues, demostrar que la podemos hacer donde sea. Pero realmente creo que tú deberías de contestar también a esta pregunta.
Yo creo que es muy importante lo que dijiste acerca de los estereotipos. No solo la participación latina en Hollywood ha sido muy baja, sino que ha sido mal representada. Realmente siempre hemos estado ligados a la ilegalidad, a la prostitución, a las drogas, y creo que esto es un reflejo de cómo el mundo está cambiando, pero también Hollywood está cambiando, y cómo los latinos realmente podemos empezar a romper estos paradigmas y estos estereotipos de qué podemos llegar a interpretar. Dani es un personaje que no tiene nada que ver con la ilegalidad, es una mujer luchadora, amorosa, trabajadora, directa, y creo que le hace justicia a la mujer latinoamericana realmente. Aprovechando que ya empecé, no, creo que es maravilloso porque también creo que no es como dice Tim, no hay una agenda, no hay una estrategia política, realmente es un reflejo de la realidad. Las mujeres, Linda Mackenzie y yo somos mujeres completamente diferentes, de edades distintas, de países distintos, y realmente nos unimos en esta película y en estos personajes para demostrar esa realidad que está en el mundo hoy, ¿no? Mujeres diferentes que realmente pueden unirse, pueden ayudarse, pueden tener diferencias, y es la realidad. Estamos llegando a lugares donde antes ni siquiera éramos consideradas y ya no hay límites para las mujeres, creo.
At risk of repeating what you said. I feel very proud to be a part of this movie and be part of this trinity of strong, interesting, also weak, also like many layered human women at the center of the story. But on a day-to-day level, working alongside with these women having like such strong, ambitious, dedicated people alongside you every day. So over the course of 6 months, you have some very low days, you have some very high days, but we were able to trade off who was dealing with what at a certain time and hold each other up, and it was just such a like important network of support and of pushing each other, and also just admiring and sort of regarding how hard everybody else was working and not wanting to let these people that you love and admire down. So it was really joy.
I felt good. You know, I don't really think in the terms of like 3 strong women, because, you know, that's going to be a theme here, but they're just 3 strong actors, and compadres. Comadres. Comadres. Because that's what you're doing every day, is just like working out the scene and the best thing for each character, and so they were real partners. And I just have nothing but great things to say about them. Thank you, Elaine.